Today, we're diving straight into a totally wild World Cup clash. We're heading to the electric atmosphere of Seattle Stadium to break down the dramatic, chronological narrative of the Group G matchup between Egypt and Belgium. This is literally the perfect example of what happens when raw emotion crashes head-on into high-stakes tactical chess. So here's the big question. What actually happens when a massive underdog lands a shocking first punch against a tournament giant? Today, we are exploring a pure David versus Goliath story. This wasn't just your standard football match. It was an absolute pressure cooker where sheer, unbreakable willpower met masterclass strategy right there on the pitch. To really grasp the weight of this game, you've got to understand the huge mismatch we were looking at. On one side, we have Egypt, right? They're hunting for their first ever World Cup finals win, and they're being driven by a super energized Mohamed Salah, who, get this, was actually celebrating his 34th birthday that exact day. Talk about motivation. Then, on the totally opposite side of the pitch, you've got Belgium, the European giants, the heavy favorites, led by the absolute midfield mastery of Kevin De Bruyne. So the stage was set instantly. A desperate, hungry Egyptian squad facing the immense, suffocating pressure of a dominant European giant right from the opening whistle. Section 1. A shocking early lead. Now, normally, you'd expect Mohamed Salah to be playing way up high as a traditional forward, right? But instead, he completely flips the script. He catches the Belgian defense totally off guard by dropping into a deep playmaker role. If you're not familiar, a playmaker is that attacking player who controls the whole flow of the offense, dropping deep to pull defenders out of position and orchestrating precise, chance-creating passes. And Salah did exactly that. By dropping back, he spotted a perfect little gap and completely dismantled the Belgian defensive lines. And wow, did that brilliance pay off fast. Just 19 minutes in, Salah threads this perfectly weighted pass right through the gap he just created. And winning on the receiving end, Emam Ashour. With absolute ice in his veins, Ashour strikes it clean past the Thibaut Courtois, who, is a world-class keeper. Just like that, boom, the underdogs take a shocking 1-0 lead, sending the Egyptian fans and Seattle Stadium into total delirium.
Section 2. The Belgian siege begins.
Okay, so coming out of the locker room for the second half, Belgium is understandably desperate to salvage their tournament opener. Look at the 46th minute. They just take over. They dominate possession and completely pin Egypt back deep into their own half. The pressure is coming in these relentless waves. By minute 53, the maestro, Kevin De Bruyne, unleashes this absolute rocket of a strike that agonizingly rattles the post. And then, at the 58-minute mark, the spotlight completely shifts to Egypt's young goalkeeper, Mostafa Shobeir. He has to step up huge, putting on a heroic performance to deny crashing wave after wave of attacks from Jérémy Doku and Leandro Trossard. Egypt is hanging on by a thread, defending with everything they have, but man, the siege is incredibly taxing.
Section 3. Tactical shift and equalizer.
Now, this next part really just goes to show how lightning fast a football match can change. 22. That is exactly how many seconds it took. Just 22 seconds for the absolute powerhouse Belgian striker, Romelu Lukaku, to make a massive, game-altering impact right after being subbed onto the pitch. It's all about how Lukaku's sheer physical presence instantly changed the geometry of the penalty box. In the 65th minute, Thomas Müller tries in this incredibly dangerous low cross. Lukaku immediately throws his massive frame into the mix to contest it. The intense, suffocating pressure from Lukaku forces the Egyptian defender, Mohamed Hany, into a tragic split-second reaction. Trying to clear the ball, Hany actually ends up deflecting it straight into his own net. A completely heartbreaking own goal for the Pharaohs, but just like that, Belgium levels the whole match at 1-1.
Section 4. The final heroic stub.
At this point, you could practically feel the tension hanging over the stadium. The big question was, could Egypt actually survive this final siege? To try and preserve their defensive stability, Egypt's manager makes the brutally tough call to actually sub off a tireless Mohamed Salah. It's a pure grit and grind defensive move to lock down the pitch. Meanwhile, Belgium just keeps bringing the heat, throwing on fresh attackers while De Bruyne keeps pulling the strings in the midfield. The ultimate test of Egypt's resilience is officially underway. Which brings us to the absolutely heart-stopping 82nd minute. De Bruyne, doing what he does best, carves open a massive chance, setting up a powerful header for Brandon Michel. It looked like a guaranteed slam-dunk goal for the European giants. But out of nowhere, Mostafa Shobeir pulls off this spectacular, world-class leaping save. It's just a miraculous moment of athleticism that single-handedly keeps Egypt alive in those agonizingly tense dying moments. And then, Finally, the full-time whistle blows. 1-1. Against all odds, Egypt successfully holds the European giants to a hard-fought draw, throwing Group G completely wide open. They might not have gotten that historic first win, but surviving that grueling test and securing a point, that was a result that absolutely shook the foundations of the tournament. So this leaves us with a truly fascinating takeaway to think about. When intricate tactical adjustments collide with sheer, unbreakable willpower, which force actually decides the outcome in the pressure cooker of the World Cup? In those chaotic, heart-pounding final moments, is it the manager's tactical chess moves like Belgium bringing on Lukaku? Or is it pure human resilience like Shobeir's miraculous leaping save that truly shapes history? It's a beautiful balance of both, isn't it? And that is exactly why we love to unpack these games. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next one.